As I turn the page on a calendar, whether it is the beginning of a new year of life or a new year chronologically, I often find myself thinking about my intentions for the new year. The chance to reorient my thinking, my actions, my speaking toward important values and relationships. For myself, my intentions tend toward health, learning, becoming, and loving life. When we imagine ourselves at a point in the future, like June 2023 or January 2024, that state of being becomes a possibility in our minds, and our intentions guide us as we think and act, work and play into that future that we have imagined. Perhaps you are also thinking of some intentions for this coming year, things that you hope for, fresh starts that you crave, something that brings you joy or health or a different perspective on life. Perhaps it is something you've been thinking about for a while that's been niggling at you. Or maybe it's something that just presented itself. I'm going to take a breath so that you can think about your intentions. Epiphany. We think of epiphanies as aha moments, when some realization surfaces from deep in our minds or hearts, or a light bulb of understanding clicks on. Epiphany means to show, make known, reveal, an appearance, especially by God. The Feast of the Epiphany on January 6th, that was Friday, marks the end of Christmas and a beginning of a season celebrating Jesus' divine identity being made known to all people. God's intention for us to see and know that Jesus brings love and salvation for all people. It comes to us through stories of everyday interactions. We begin with an everyday story of Jesus going out to find his cousin John at the Jordan River and asking to be baptized. As one of the few people who knows that Jesus is the Messiah, John feels unworthy and wants to refuse to baptize Jesus. Jesus insists, because it is the way to all righteousness. Righteousness can be a weighty word. We're going to read it here today as being faithful to God. And the next words intrigue me. Jesus consents. Wait a minute. It doesn't say Jesus. It says, and he consented. John consented? Jesus consented? I chose to read this as Jesus consents. He says yes to God's trust in him. He says yes to offering himself, his whole self, all his gifts, his body, mind, and spirit to God. Aha! An epiphany. God makes promises to us. Promises to love us no matter what we do or how we act. Promises to always forgive us and welcome us back. To delight in conversation with us. To hold our confidences, our anger and despair with tenderness. To give us courage to speak and act into God's intention for justice and peace for all people. God promises us fullness of life on this earth and forevermore. And God promises to stay with us always. When we make our baptismal promises, we give our consent. We say yes to God's believing and trusting in us. We offer our whole selves to God, our hearts and spirits, minds and passions, time and money, our work and relationships in our baptismal promises. God promises to be with us always in the form of the Holy Spirit, that spirit of creativity and imagination, that spirit of comfort, of courage, that holy provocateur and constant companion. And we give our yes to God's wisdom, comfort, and invitation to grow deeper in faith. We promise to apply our curiosity and faithful energies to all that we do, every relationship, every decision, so that we proclaim God's justice for all people and all creation, in all that we say and do. Matthew's telling of Jesus' baptism suggests that previous to this moment, Jesus is not well known. His ministry begins with his baptism, when God publicly claims him and anoints him with the Holy Spirit. And from that moment, Jesus is that holy light that shines brighter and brighter in the world, drawing all people to him. Our baptisms ignite a light in us. Like Jesus, we are baptized with water and sealed with the Holy Spirit, and we become partners in ministry with Jesus and with one another, each bringing our unique gifts to sharing God's light and love with the world. And so as we, in just moments, renew the promises of our baptism, I invite you to join me in wondering about God's intentions being revealed to us, about our life together, manifesting God's light and love, and the holy courage we consent to receive in this season of Epiphany.